cinematic celebration of culture and global storytelling is about to nourish Pittsburgh's soul for a 32nd year.
It's the region's largest Jewish cultural event. It's called the JFilm Festival, and it's serving up indie gems and films that linger long after the credits roll.
So joining us now is the director of programming for the festival, Paul Sloop, to tell us about some of the highlights of this year's big events. We're talking about an 11-day film festival, 18 different films.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's get started with the first one, and it's called Midas Man. This is the opening night film. What's it about?
Opening night film, and it's the Beatles. So we're having a 60s kind of opening night party.
Yeah.
We're going to do it right. We're going to do some Beatles cocktails, custom cocktails, Strawberry Fields, Yellow Submarine kind of thing. But it's the story of Midas Man is the manager, Brian Epstein. He sort of discovered the Beatles in the early 60s, and it was his championing of them that led them to become such a sensation. He was so convinced of their talent, he basically introduced them to the world.
Wow, I love learning stories like this that you didn't know before, and that's what draws you to films like this.
Yeah, that's why I've been programming films for film festivals for like 23 years now, and it is that discovery. As I had mentioned to you pre-show, I love docs. That's because you learn so much in documentaries. So I embrace.
I like learning from a film or from a book if I'm going to watch or read it. Okay, the next one we're talking about is Charles Grodin, A Rebel with a Cause.
Yes, Charles Grodin, hailed from Pittsburgh and was such an incredible talent. He was like the king of deadpan. He has some of the most iconic performances on the late shows with Letterman and Leno and the like. He would kill them with those back and forths, and that is featured in this doc, which also goes on to tell what an incredible human being he was and some of the great work he did socially later in his career.
I remember some of those late night interviews, and you're right, like the repartee back and forth, and he was very sarcastic in his response. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You had this sense like maybe they didn't like each other in the reality. They loved bringing him on because they became some of the highest rated episodes because he was so good at making
hard to tell, right? Is he grumpy?
Tension? Is that real tension?
It became a thing, yeah. All right, so the next one is a Tribeca Film Festival award-winning film, right?
Yeah, from 2024, last year's Audience Choice Award winner was Bad Shabbos, and we're getting to play that. It's actually an encore presentation because we played it at Three Rivers Film Festival in the fall of November, but it fits perfectly in this festival as well, so we're bringing that back. An ensemble cast, really fun film.
That would kill me.
Okay, and talk to us a little bit about like what the premise of this. So, is it a family getting together?
It is a very dark comedic film about a intermarriage that's about to happen, and they're about to have Shabbos with one family, and something tragic happens. I don't want to give away the story, but something tragic happens, and then it turns into a dark comedy.
Okay.
And again, ensemble cast: Kira Sedgwick, David Paymer, Alana Weintraub.
Yeah.
It's a really fun film. I think it definitely has a New York sense of humor going on in it, which led to that Tribeca win, and has played well at the festivals where I've
Very well executed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, the final is another documentary about the first organized interracial civil rights protest in U.S. history.
Yes, Ain't No Back to a Merry-Go-Round. 15 minutes from downtown Washington, D.C., there was an amusement park in the 60s where blacks were still not allowed to come into the park. And students from Howard University started to protest there. And white members of the community that surrounded the park joined them, and it became the first interracial kind of protest of this sort that the country saw, and eventually led to the park becoming integrated.
And I like that line in there. It just says the civil rights battle that you didn't know. This is a very untold story.
Yeah, exactly. And director Ilana Trockman, who is known for putting things like this together, does fantastic work in this doc, revealing the story and sharing it. And again, you get to learn something, a story you didn't know. It's really fantastic.
And important stuff to learn, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure.
We love it.
Great, thanks so much.
Well, Pittsburgh's JFilm Festival will run April 24th through May 4th at the Oaks Theater, also CMU's McConomy Auditorium, and also online for some of them.
And to learn more about the lineup, if you didn't learn enough here, and when you can catch each selection, just go to our website, pittsburghtodaylive.com.